Hey guys, this week we are going to start reviewing everything with our slope-intercept form. Remember, all of this is a review. We have already taught this to you, so you should be able to go through it pretty quickly. So our first way to find slope would be from 2 points. So if we gave you two ordered pairs, how would you find the slope? The first thing you would do is identify one of the ordered pairs as x1, y1, and the other ordered pair as x2, y2, and then you're going to plug them into your formula and solve. So for example, if your two ordered pairs were -3, -2, and -4, -8, you would identify one ordered pair as x1, y1, and the other one as x2, y2, and then you're going to plug them into your formula. So y2 is -8, and you're going to subtract y1, which is -2, and you're going to divide that by x2, which is -4, and subtract x1, which is -3. We would do cube change if you didn't have a calculator to give you -6. Again, over here you would do that over -1, which would simplify to 6. Now if you need to find slope from a graph, you will identify two ordered pairs on the given line and make sure that they go through the grid lines. It's got to go directly through the horizontal and vertical grid lines on the graph, otherwise it's not a good point to choose. Then you're going to identify one of the ordered pairs as x1, y1, the other one is x2, y2, and then you're going to plug the corresponding numbers into your formula. So it's exactly like that. You could also do your rise over run on the graph using the 2 points that you found. So remember, if you rise up, that's going to be a positive number. If you rise down, that will be negative. If you run to the right, that will be positive. And if you run to the left, that would be a negative. Okay, now how to write an equation in slope-intercept form, which would be y equals mx plus b from a graph. So now we are given a graph, something similar to this, but we need to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So the first thing you're going to do is find your slope, which is what you did right there. So identify 2 points on the given line, again, that go through the grid lines. Label one x1, y1, the other one x2, y2, and plug them into your formula. You could also do the rise over run to get your slope. You are going to plug your slope in for the letter m, because that's your slope, and choose one of the ordered pairs, so one of these that you had, to plug in for x and y. You're going to then plug those in and solve your equation for b, and then you're going to write your equation by plugging in m and b. Now, in order to solve for b, you would only really have to do that if you couldn't tell what the y-intercept was from the graph. Sometimes you can look at the graph and say, okay, I know exactly what the y-intercept is, but sometimes you can't. For this one, if we didn't have a, we don't have a graph right here, so if we wanted to figure out what the y-intercept was using our example up here, so we're going to use those two ordered pairs, we would plug in our slope, which was 6 that we got, and then we pick one of the ordered pairs. I'm going to pick -3, -2, so I'm going to plug in -2 for y, -3 for x, and now I can solve for b. So it'd be -2 is equal to -18 plus b. I'm going to add 18 on both sides to get that b is equal to 16. So my equation would be y equals 6x plus 16. All right, now to write an equation in slope-intercept form when given 2 points. So this is back to that how we found slope on the first part, but now we're going to find the slope and write our equation, which is basically what we just did on that last one as well. So you are going to identify your two ordered pairs, label them x1, y1, x2, y2, plug them into your formula. Then you're going to plug in your slope for m and choose one of those ordered pairs to plug in for x and y. Then you're going to solve for b and then write your equation by plugging in for m and b, which is exactly what we did on that last one. Okay, now once we've written the equation, we want to graph the line when we have been given that equation or when we found what the equation was. So let's use our example that we found, which was y equals 6x plus 16. So I've given you the equation and I want you to graph it. You're going to put the equation in slope-intercept form. This one is already in the form y equals mx plus b. If it's not in that form, then you're going to have to use your inverse operations to move things from the left side to the right side or the right side to the left side to get it into that form. Once you've done that, you are going to plot the y-intercept on the graph. So you're going to plot 16 on the graph. You are going to make your slope into a fraction because that will make it easier to graph. So if our slope is 6, I'm going to make that into a fraction, 6 over 1. The reason why you're making it into a fraction, because when we're using a graph, we usually find slope by doing rise over run. So that's telling us, okay, we're going to rise 6 and we're going to run 1. Now, which directions are we going to move? Well, if the numerator is positive, that means that we are moving up. If our numerator is negative, that means we are going to move down. If our denominator is positive, that means we are going to move to the right. And if our denominator is negative, we are going to move to the left. So what this slope is telling us is that we are going to go up 6 and to the right 1. That's only going to give us half of our graph because you're going to start at your y-intercept and go up 6 and right 1. That's only going to give us the right side of the graph. So to get the left side of your y-intercept, the rest of the graph, you're literally just doing the opposite. So you're going to go down 6 and left 1. Then you're going to connect all the points by drawing a straight line with arrows on each end. Okay, now we have a couple of other lines that are different, that are not diagonals. They're either vertical or horizontal. If your slope is 0, so when you do your rise over run, you get 0, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and you get 0, then that will be a horizontal line. The equation for a horizontal line is y equals a, where a is the y-intercept, meaning wherever that line goes through the y-axis, that is going to be your equation, y equals that number. If your slope is undefined, that means that the denominator is 0. This would mean that your numerator is 0. That's what a slope of 0 would be. Then there will be a vertical line. The equation for a vertical line is x equals a, where a is the x-intercept. So make sure that you remember your slope guide because that will help you for these. Okay, so a positive slope, the line is increasing from left to right. A negative slope, the line is decreasing from left to right. A undefined slope is a vertical line, and a slope of 0 is a horizontal line. So let me show you two examples of this. So if I gave you the two order pairs -2, 5 and -2, 6, and I said write the equation as outlined, you're going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2. You're going to plug it into your slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and that would be 6 minus 5 over -2 minus -2. 6 minus 5 is 1. -2 minus -2, you would do cube change to get 0. If 0 is in your denominator, that would be an undefined slope. So the equation of this line is x equals a, where a is the x-intercept. So where would these 2 points go through the x-axis? Well, it would be at the x value. So the equation of that line is x equals -2. Here's another example. If your two ordered pairs were -1, -3, and 0, -3, and I want you to write the equation of that line, you're going to label your ordered pairs. You're going to find your slope first, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that would be -3 minus -3 over 0 minus -1. If we did keep, change, change in our numerator, we would get 0. Keep, change, change in our denominator, we would get 1. So our slope is 0. And for a slope of 0, that means it's going to be a horizontal line. And your equation for a horizontal line is y equals the y-intercept, which would be the y value in the ordered pairs. If y'all have any questions, let us know.